Hey everybody, my name is Vivian Salazar, and today I was thinking really hard about this video and if I should make it or not. But then I thought, well, I wish this video was up, or I wish someone created this video for me when I really needed to hear this. Today I'm going to share with you the messages my angel baby had for me in my session that I did with this wonderful lady. And while I'm reading the session, I'm gonna read it just as if it was written, with every, like, how the emotions, how I felt, how it was said to me, like how I imagined my baby talking to me, and that's how I wanna say it. And I'm also gonna be stopping and explaining some things that are going on, because some things are kind of metaphysical. I think that's what that is, or spiritual, and maybe if you're new here, you might not know what they are. Also, if you are going through a loss and maybe you didn't get the answers you got that you wanted from doctors or anything like that, you also have another way to receive answers through spirituality. There's so many ways. I'm not saying that this way is gonna work for you. I'm not saying that this is the right way. I'm saying this way is the way that helped me, and I just want to share it just to give you some sort of insight or comfort if you ever went through a miscarriage or a stillbirth or some sort of loss. And it's just mostly to give you relief, and also to take those burdens off your shoulders. So anyway, here it goes. So the session begins and it starts with, he's here. His legs are spread wide apart, and his hands are on his hips, and he has a full head of black hair, and he says, with a serious face, I need her to let go so I can let go, but she needs me to let go so she can let go. Let's fix this, please. And when I read this, I was like, whoa. I had to reread that part, because it was like, I need her to let go so I can let go, and she needs me to let go so she can let go. So it's like we were both holding on to each other, but we were waiting for each other to really let go of each other, if that makes sense. And now he is riding a kid's toy car, wearing a cowboy hat and cowboy gear. He is just in between worlds, wanting to be a cowboy. And when I thought about it, I always when I was pregnant, I always liked to listen to cowboy music, and I really liked to watch The Ranch. If you ever saw The Ranch, it was such a good show. And then I really loved burgers and, I don't know, meat and steak, and it was very interesting hearing that he loved everything about being a cowboy and wearing cowboy gear. And my first question was, why did he choose us as his parents? And then he says, Mom, you are magical. Glitter follows wherever you go. Mom, there was a part of you that knew this would happen, knew so much more than I. I knew we were meant to be a family. I knew, but I may have jumped in too soon, a bit too soon. I just may have. And yet, knowing what you knew on some level, you still open yourself to me, because you too know that this bond was agreed upon so very long ago. We know this to be true. And then my next question was, what was the reason that he left me so far along in the pregnancy? And his response was, could I have said it was predestined, that it was meant to be? Yes, I could, and that would be and is true. What is also true is that I panicked. I came too soon. My soul group warned me of this. They did. I dipped my toe, and before I knew it, I was in fully. And then my next question was if it benefited him in some way, and if so, how? And he says, did it benefit me? Oh my, yes. To hear your heart beat daily, to feel the love and to receive it. Yes, to receive from you was all I had wanted to learn. It was my biggest desire. To receive, and I did it. I received, and now I am more open to love than I ever thought possible. And then there's a mood shift, like his mood shifts and he starts to talk really fast. And she said that it was kind of hard for her to understand, but he was excited about this whole conversation he was having. And he says this: now, when I do arrive, if I do arrive, I will not have to struggle to receive the love, the power of love. Do you not see the great gift in this? Do you not see the great suffering that is felt by so many people on earth because they did not allow themselves to receive love fully? They feel that they're not worthy, and the self-destruction begins from there. Oh, sweet mom, please tell me you see the gift in this, for I do. Oh, yes, I do. And then I asked if he would be back as the same gender in this lifetime. He says, "It is my desire. However, I am open to being in whatever way will best serve the higher good." Fingers crossed I get the boy line. And then I'm going to pause right here because some people may say, well, how is he being able to say all these things and he sounds more like an adult, not a baby? But if you don't know, when we are all souls, and a baby is just more of a physical vehicle, and before we are born we forget how all the experiences we've gone through, and we have to remember it all over again. And I feel like when you get to the other side, you have so much knowledge. You're not a baby anymore. You are just consciousness, and you're very wise because you've lived through so much. I mean, our souls are eternal, and I guess you could take it however you think and see however it works for you. But here we go. And then I asked, when is the right time for him to come back again? And he says, there are others that must come before me, then it will be my time. And then I thought, whoa, others, like how many kids am I gonna have? Hopefully it's 2 others and then him, or maybe just 1 other and then him, because I don't know. And then he says, perhaps as much as 10 years for me, but I am patient. And then she asks if there is something that I should do so he can come back. And his response is this: allow the others to come first as well. Invite them in, welcome them, and trust that I am there with you. Welcoming them, possibly even being a guide. And then I asked if I should fix something from the past or what I did or anything about that. And this wasn't shared from my baby, but from my angels. And they say, oh, forgiveness, to forgive myself for not fighting enough for my baby, and also to release guilt, because it's just a good and healthy way to deal with things, to release guilt and to forgive everyone and yourself mostly. The lady doing the session says if he has any extra messages for me or anything that he wants to tell me, and he shares this: I feel different, I feel clear, I feel clean, I feel pure. I feel like I am ready to drive my car into the sunset and be one with the horses. And then he says, how do you feel, sweet mom? How do you feel? Can you speak out loud to me as I finish crossing the veil, and tell me how you feel? Can you know in your heart that you will see me again? Can you honor that knowing? I can. And then she says if there's anything else. And then he says, there's no reason for me to stay here, to be stuck here any longer. It is time to go sit with the stars until I am truly pulled by her, your knowing, back into the physical. And that's where the session ends. So it was a very interesting session, and how you see how agreements were made before any of this happened. With other souls, you make agreements to do certain things, and sometimes they happen, sometimes they don't. And it's like you finally realize that life just keeps on going, and there is really no end, just the end of the body, the physicality, but and you could also know that the soul is still looking over you. Like they never leave you. If you're holding on to that soul, they're holding on and you're holding on, and I feel like they don't feel good to let you go because they're worried that you're sad, and until they know that you're fine, I feel like that's what gives them peace and they are able to move forward, and until they eventually come back, or maybe they will see you again in another lifetime. But to think that if things happen, there is divine timing, and I know that that's hard to comprehend, that things happen and there's a right time for everything. That just doesn't make sense right now, and because we're in our physical bodies and we don't understand how can it be, how is there a specific time for certain things, are these things written, did it happen? Or I mean, when I first read it, I was like, whoa, there's like, how is this possible? And on some level, how did I know this would happen? But I realize now there's only a portion of me that is here, and a bigger portion of me is still in the non-physical, watching over this smaller portion of me. And oh my gosh, it's just such a big, I'm probably going to talk about this later because it's so complex. But all in all, this session was so great and it was so wonderful. Also, obviously, when I read it did make me cry, and I was also happy because I was able to allow my son to cross the veil and finally be at peace and express the messages he had for me. And who knows, I might see him in 10 years, and he might be a boy, he might be a girl, but I look forward for that. But for now, I think it's fine. Me and him really grew a lot, him as a soul, and able to receive love and from me, and I think that's a beautiful thing. And for me, I also more appreciative of everything, and I'm trying to really focus on what I really want to do and how I want to express myself and where I want to go from now on. And this is how and why I'm making this video, because I know there are other people out there that want to hear some sort of words, want to hear some sort of comfort, want to understand what is going on and how they can deal with things like this. And I know there are other people that have gotten readings, and I know that some people are not ready to share them, and hopefully more people will share readings and what happened and how it's helped them. Like I said, I haven't seen any video like that on YouTube, and I feel like people are afraid to also express themselves and are afraid of what other people may say. But like I always say in all my channels and all my videos, actually, is I'm just sharing my own story. It may work for you, it may help you in some way, or maybe you don't like it and you may like choose another avenue to explore and get your answers somewhere else. But it's just fun to share knowledge and get to see everyone's perspectives. It's just interesting on how we all deal and how we are going through this life in such a different way, and looking at things in such different viewpoints. Honestly, this reading was a turning point for me. It was so beautiful, and I liked it so much. And it was very detailed, and it answered all my questions. I kind of wish I had asked more questions, but I feel like for now it's perfect. It's fine. I'm able to share this, and let me know what you guys thought about this reading. Was it interesting? Was it something you already knew in your heart? Is it too much? Is it overwhelming, or is it confusing, or any of that. I would like to know what you thought in the comments down below. And I'll see you in the next video.